Members, visitors and guests, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to our final meeting of this Rotary year, our 5,130th and the 2026 President's Changeover Lunch. We have a number of special guests of the club with us today. You're all special in your own way, of course, including District Governor Peter Shepherd, incoming District Governor Graham Hope, who's there. G'day, Graham. And Michael Stilwell, who I think is perched way back in the corner from the Rotary Club at Kew and our local Rotary Community Group leader. Also here for induction shortly, we have David Schwan, accompanied by his wife, Sari Crocia Ryan, who are just over there. And could you please join me in making these special guests welcome? And I just want to add a couple. Special welcome to Carol. Good luck, Carol. And my guest, Debbie Sonnen. So other visiting Rotarians we have today is Avi Palti and Jessica Palti. If you could please stand when you're welcome. Maria Hicks, are you here, Maria? Yep. Sophie Shen. Norman Tulrid Bay from the E-Club of Melbourne. Amy Yan from the Forced Organ Harvesting Satellite Club. Yan, Amy, if you could stand up, thank you. And I don't think we have Ross Rice here from Brighton North. If you are, could you identify yourself? Norman. Oh, here. Fabrizio from, yes, just here. Oranzi, guest of Karen Kim from all the way from Italy. Just stand up. We've got Janet Jane, a guest of Yedan Chi. Marcel Reza, also a guest of Yedan Chi. Dr. Rachel Cameron, a guest of Irana Bauer. Tully Smith, a guest of Stephen Rando, and Vanessa here, Paul, a guest of John Penderbury. Could you, and Nate McLaren and Tracy Khan, I think. If you could all please stand and we'll give you a good welcome. I'm delighted that we induct a new member into the club today. But before we do that, I'd like to call our membership director, Debbie Ingfu, to the podium. A trophy in the form of an axle, which it represents the hub of Rotary Wheel, is given to a Rotarian who during a Rotary year has given that little bit extra in service above self. This award is voted on by the board and presented as the Vice President's Encouragement Award. We've selected Deb for this recognition this year. Deb joined the Rotary Melbourne in April 2006. And for more than 2 decades, she's been a dedicated contributor to the life of our club. While she has served in many capacities, her outstanding contribution over the last 5 years has been in membership engagement and development. As chair of a membership engagement, more recently membership director, Deb has devoted countless hours to strengthening our club. She's diligently followed up membership inquiries, met prospective members for coffee, answered many, many questions, facilitated introductions, and ensured that every lead received personal attention. Working closely with Bernie McIntosh, who is Bernie here today? Well, that's a reasonable excuse. Helped attract a new generation of members, contributing to strong membership growth and a historic high 30% female membership. Deb understands that welcoming new members is just as important as recruiting them. Through her weekly membership table and her very warm presence at club meetings, she ensures visitors and new members feel included from their very first encounter with Rotary Melbourne. Beyond membership, Deb is a steadfast supporter of club activities, the Seniors Lunch Program, and many initiatives that make Melbourne Rotary a vibrant and caring organisation. Like the axle at the centre of a Rotary wheel, Deb has become the central force in connecting people, strengthening fellowship, and helping our club move forward. for her outstanding commitment to membership growth and engagement, and for consistently giving that little bit extra in service to Rotary Melbourne. It is with great pleasure to present the 2025-26 Axel Award to Deb Ying Fu.
Well, thank you, President Philip, soon to be past president.
You said that so gleefully.
Well, I reckon you're pretty happy about it as well. But I just want to say thank you for the recognition. It wasn't expected, but greatly appreciated. All these things don't happen without a team, and I do want to acknowledge Bernie, who's my right-hand man. He's always been good to bounce ideas off, and but unfortunately our numbers weren't as good this year as they were last year. So we're going to, as a team, get those numbers up. So the more people that we can get in here, the more we can do for people out there. So it's up to everyone in here to help me increase the numbers of this club. So thank you very much and for the recognition, and let's get on with the job. Thank you.
Deb, stay here. Congratulations and thank you for your efforts, Deb. I'd now like to introduce David Chuan to the club, the final and lucky last inductee for the year. Dave, could you make your way up to the podium for the induction, please?
President Philip, it gives me much pleasure to introduce for membership of the club, David Chuan, who holds the position of Director and will have the classification of Business Management Leadership. He will be a member of Central 2 and his mentor in the club will be me. And he'll be known in the club as David.
Okay, so I've just got, it's not too painful, I just have to do the charge. Dave Chuan, we welcome you as a member of Rotary Club of Melbourne. Today you enter an organisation of more than 1.1 million members in more than 36,000 clubs in 221 countries, embracing the internationality of Rotary. We believe that you have a personal and professional qualities that will ensure the principles of Rotary will be safe in your keeping. The Rotary badge you receive in a moment, and I hope wear with pride, indicates your commitment to the object of Rotary to which we all aspire, to encourage the ideal of service above self. We expect that you will become an ambassador from us to the community in which you live, and we ask that you convey Rotary's aims in all that you do. We look forward to you pursuing with us the great work of Rotary. So with this expectation, I offer you the right hand of fellowship and ask that members join and me in welcoming you to our club. And I now invite you to briefly respond, Dave.
With the values and the mission you all share, I'm a man with a mission. And my mission is to rewire leadership for humanity once for all. To rewire leadership where the sole purpose is to serve humanity. I believe the world doesn't have resource problem, world doesn't have problem with processes, systems, humans, and challenges that we're grappling with. Deep layer down, it has always been and always will be a leadership problem. So if humanity can figure out how to conduct leadership better, we can solve every problem on this planet. And I know we all share the same values. So thank you for inviting me. Thanks, President Philip. And
well done.
Cheers.
Okay, I now call on District Governor Peter Shepherd to make a special surprise presentation. Peter.
Thank you, President Philip. First and foremost, can I say my thanks to the Rotary Club of Melbourne, both as a club, but all the individual members for the great work you've done over the last 12 months. Please keep up the great work. It's as Graham will find out, it's wonderful to have Melbourne as a club in our district, and the fact that you do such amazing work is amazing. Two quick things. Firstly, I just want to acknowledge the ongoing support of the Rotary Melbourne, of the Rotary Foundation, specifically in the 24-25 year where they donated both to the Global Fund and to end polio. I will pass these on to the most appropriate people. But the reason I'm here today is to acknowledge a person from your club who's given service above self at a district level. She doesn't know what's about to happen, but Mary Barry, could you step forward, please? Mary coming up. Mary was membership director last year under my brother, Michael. She is strategic advisor this year, but most importantly, what Mary has done for the district, working with Michael, myself, Graham and Claire and the board, is to create a framework that we can deliver to clubs about creating a sense of belonging, because we truly believe that if clubs have a strong sense of belonging, the ability to recruit and retain members becomes so much easier. Mary's put hours and hours on this, and so on behalf of the district, it is my great pleasure to pass on to you a Paul Harris Fellow recognition, specifically making you a PHF 3 Sapphire. I'll come here. That is for you. I'll let you put that on. You want to say something?
Oh, wow, that certainly wasn't expected. What an honor. Thank you so much, Peter, and everybody on the district leadership team. It's so humbling to get something of this nature for doing something I love doing, which is giving my time, energy, and thoughts to Rotary at whatever level. And I've just loved working with the district for many, many years now. And I look forward to working with Graham as we go into the next year. And thanks to you and Michael for the last 2 years. I've had a ball at district with you two, and I'm sure it'll continue with Graham. So thank you so much for this. And thank you to all the members here at Rotary Melbourne who constantly support me and egg me on and encourage me to keep going. So thank you to everybody, because you're all part of this. So thank you so much.
And now to the business of the day. Rotarians and friends all, it's been another year of substantial achievement and change by our members and supporters. I'd like to pass on my personal thanks to all members of the board who each brought energy and remarkable diversity of skills and knowledge to the governance task. Starting with my executive, Secretary Sue Smith and Vice Presidents Carol Bond and Branko Panic. The latter two also doubling up as President-elect and President nominee. Joined by Honorary Treasurer Robert Anthony, you've helped keep the business on the straight and narrow, as well as providing wise counsel to myself, which I'm sure I needed. I'm also appreciative of speedy, accurate assistance of our Honorary Assistant Minute Secretary Sana. Vice President Branko at the VP Reporting Day was able to talk in great depth about the number of programs which the club has undertaken. It is simply impossible to cover them all. There's about 100 or so in total. He also covered some of the changes in our composition of our club, and particularly regretfully some of those who died this year that we've remembered there. One of the major tasks of the current and incoming boards was to complete a 3-year strategic plan taking us through to the end of the 2020s. Club members also provided input. Our long-term member, Bill Pickett, and I mean that in a very nice way, Bill, when I say you're a long-term member, facilitated a planning day and process. As President-elect Carol correctly says, a dynamic plan in an unpredictable world. Population demographics and potential membership will remain our biggest challenge. In overall terms, we have held our numbers at a time when the broader Rotary movement is struggling. We have continued to develop our public benevolent institution entity. By special thanks to Treasurer and the Honorary Assistant Treasurer David Carruthers for their massive work in moving our investments and funds to allow us to implement the PBI as a working concept. We still have more work to do to explain the PBI to members and to make full use of this. I'd like to thank the PBI board of the club, Robert Anthony, David Carruthers, Russell Board, Peter Davis, John Saunders, Sandra Hills, and Chris Soteropoulos for their work. While it is always dangerous to do so, nonetheless, I'm going to highlight just some of the work in our other directorates. Deb Ying Fu, as you know, has been a Director of Membership, a critical part of a club's current and future success. Deb streamlined the membership process. We have looked deliberately to deepen our member experience with a new cause-based group on peace, reflecting Rotary Melbourne's long-term interest, as well as a jazz special interest group. Given the events in Australia this year that past President Adrian touched on, I think we can all agree that we should be doing what we can to promote peace here and elsewhere. I hope to see other cause and special interest groups start in the future. We think that these will help our value proposition to attract and retain people, as well as just being a very good thing to do. For some of our members, the regular meetings are an important part of their week, as well as supporting the club's activity. Your membership of this community is very valued and helps us do a number of other things. One of the highlights of the year for me was the quality of our new members coming into the club as we shepherded them through the system and inducted them here today. Dave, of course, being just the latest example of that. Thank you. With Mary Barrier, our club events director, we experimented in the second half of the Rotary year with a different, more informal program in the evening. I think 2 of these evening events will stay: the late January rooftop event and a club jazz night. It is planned that all of our evening events in future will continue to be more informal. We found this actually works better with our CBD-based population of workers. Our speakers' events during lunchtimes remain top class, helped by many of you in the room who've helped to find people. Yadan Chi continues to lead us in bringing our communications and promotion further into the 21st century, and we'll be seeing some of the fruits of her partnerships and networks later in the meeting, assuming the audio-visual works. We're able to draw on John Sanders' depth of wisdom in the governance area. One of the achievements of the Environment Directorate, which is also in that area, is that we signed an MOU with Expand, which is helping to produce sustainable carbon capture, as well as adding to diversified income stream for low-income farmers. All of this with high-quality, verifiable assurance. Also in that area, the new Arboretum Activation Group provides another model of member involvement in the area. In the international area, it was a moment of great pleasure for me on your behalf when I signed the MOU in Japan between the Rotary Club of Melbourne and the Rotary Club of Osaka. And under Robert Fisher's leadership, we'll be looking to build on this. This reminds us of a great international network of Rotary, and it lived up to the theme for this Rotary International Year, Unite for Good. And whilst he's not here, I would like to again to acknowledge our honorary member, the Consul General of Japan, Takura Furuya, who rearranged his schedule to support me in his attendance at the Rotary Club of Osaka meeting. I was very grateful, and he certainly helped us with interpretations. And just 2 days ago, I received a certificate of completion for a completed Rotary water project issued by the community in the Philippines. This means better water for 20,000 people in that community. Our international group is very active. Community Services under Director Professor Rosemary Nixon works through both our Community Welfare Committee and Health and Ageing Committees, producing multiple avenues of engagement, produces hands-on volunteering in areas such as Ryman, Maha, Make a House a Home, and around the Bay, Second Bite, and so on. Iqbal Rita has been a stalwart of the Director of Youth and Vocational Services. The vocational panel this year was a particular highlight with me, with them discussing their private business ventures in manufacturing and production. The Indigenous programs are also in this directorate, and this year, Australia was declared free from endemic trachoma. Rotary, well done. Yes, that needs an applause. Rotary Melbourne and the broader Rotary movement has been supporting this eradication for decades. Now there's an enduring change. Can I thank all of you here who contributed in any way, big or small? Our numerous external awards allow us to recognise people in the community and build links with Rotary Melbourne. I think we can enjoy the joy of our Environmental and Young Achiever Awards, the Cynthia Edgell and Sir John Reid Awards and the Monash Medal. I'm delighted to announce that this year the board has decided to present the 4th Bridge Award to John Peppery, largely for his work with Ryman, and thank you for accompanying John today, Vanessa. And Marg Lesser, the Dave Whitner Award for mentoring. We will arrange a presentation of these awards at a later date. During the year, I was reminded of a legacy building of this great club with the centenaries of our assisting to charter the Bendigo, the Ballarat and Geelong clubs, as well as the centenary of the Baker Institute, whose origin is owed in part to the generosity and foresight of one of our past members. Our connection with Sir John Monash and his legacy is rightly commemorated by this club, and our participations with the Amiens recognition is very special. As with every president, until you're president, you really don't know how important Jo Mavros is. I'd like to personally thank her for her extraordinary depth of knowledge and wisdom and personal support over the year. Thank you, Jo. Where are you? You're sitting right back around the corner. And throughout the year, I've been supported by my wife, Debbie, who's accompanied me to many interesting and varied functions in many different settings across the state, across the city, as well as Japan. To her and the rest of the family, I give my extreme thanks. And Debbie was wondering how she'd fit in, but I can assure you when we went to Japan and met Rotary Club, she stood out, surprisingly, and was a centre of attention, so it was terrific. The year has been another successful one, and credit can be widely shared around. Thank you to all of you for your contributions. Even just being a member in of itself helps keep this club ticking over, and we really appreciate it. And for all of the work that you do across groups, committees, and related projects. Thank you. 11 years ago at my induction at a club changeover, so Dave, you follow in good footsteps, I hope. I talked about the memory of going as a guest of my father to the Rotary Club of Perth meeting in circa 1980. The guest speaker was a well-known American author and radio speaker of the time. Remember radio? Who said that while many groups asked him to speak, he tended to only accept ones from Rotary, as they would make a difference and deliver. That's why I joined Rotary, to make a difference and deliver. One person I know who wants to make a difference is our incoming president, Dr. Carol Jansen Bond. By way of background, Carol is a third-generation Rotarian. 5 other members of her close family have been Rotarians, and she was heavily influenced by culture of family community service. Indeed, Carol was born at Everston Hospital, Illinois, just around from the headquarters of Rotary International. Hard to escape. And she had many leadership roles in the US with Red Cross, school boards, local church, YWCA, and women's philanthropic organisations. The good news is Carol came to Australia in 2007 and successfully completed a Rotary Peace Fellowship program at UQ, earning a master's degree in peace studies and conflict resolution, and then was able to undertake a fully funded PhD in political science in 2015. After lecturing at UQ, Carol transferred to RMIT's College of Business and Law with a responsibility for a large cohort of undergraduate students. Carol's industry partners are the energy sector, especially in the move from fossil fuels. Carol has been a dancer, singer, and actor, but now pursues her creative side as a member of a viewing audience, be it visual art, jazz, or classical music. And she still participates, though, in non-competitive running. Carol has 4 children. The 2 older ones live in the United States. Carol's 2 youngest children live with her in the western suburbs. Grace is currently in her first year at RMIT, pursuing a degree in construction and project management. And Francis, her youngest, is finishing year 12 as class captain, concentrating on his pure passion, music. Carol, could you please come forward? I will now read the presidential induction charge. Oh, here we are. Sets a sign. Time's up. Carol Jansen Bond, you've been chosen by the Rotary Club of Melbourne to assume the high office of Club President for the year 2026-27, as we believe you possess the required qualities of leadership and command and esteem and confidence of your fellow members. You have served Rotary and the club with distinction and a commendable manner, and you have a working knowledge of the rules of the club and the object of Rotary. You have undertaken to give the time and effort necessary to lead and carry on the work of the club in a meaningful and dignified manner. We, the members of the Rotary Club of Melbourne, pledge to you our support and loyalty during the year, as together we strive to achieve the Rotaries of Melbourne service. I have now very much pleasure in presenting you with the Rotary Club of Melbourne Regalia of Office, the President's lapel pin. It's one of a kind, as I describe it, the Rotary Crown Jewel. You must guide it with your life, and by doing so, induct you as our 110th President for the year 2026-27. Do I do the chain yet? And I give you the chain of office. All yours. So, thank you, and that's been such a relief not having to wear that again for today's video. Thank you, Carol.
It's my turn to say a few words. Philip has gone to great lengths to thank a number of people in this room and people who are in this room in spirit since they're traveling elsewhere. But I would like to officially thank you for your service to this club, Philip. As president, your leadership has been extraordinary, and I congratulate you on how successfully you've been collegiate and really allowed people to exercise their gifts. It's been very, very meaningful learning from you and working with you. On behalf of the board and all members, I present you with your past president pin, and with that you will forever be past President Philip. Please join me in congratulating and thanking past President Philip Cornish. So none of this, our service to Rotary, would be possible without the support of our families. And I call on past President Adrian Nelson to present with our grateful thanks to the past president's wife, Debbie, a small token of our appreciation. Would you please join me in thanking Debbie for her support throughout the year? We look forward to continuing to work with both of you in the years ahead, and I look forward to being able to pick up the phone and call you at odd times of the day. So I have just returned from the Rotary International Convention in Taipei. And other than the Rotary Convention in Melbourne that Mary Berry was very capably and masterfully organizing on behalf of all of us and Rotary International, this was my first international convention. And I have to say, when I was growing up in Lake Forest, Illinois, we had a fete at our church every year. And at the fete, we as children would get to kind of collect a series of plastic and bamboo created prizes. And all of them said made in Taiwan. That's all I knew about Taiwan until I was there last week. And let me tell you, if it hasn't already been on your list of places to go, it is a must go. And I'm particularly going to return to explore the national parks, the hills, the woodlands, the coasts. It is an extraordinary place of beauty, and the people are absolutely joyful. It is a magnificent place to visit. That said, I'm not here to give you a travelogue, but I do want to tell you I was inspired by some of the speakers that we heard from. Not only did we hear from the now past president, Francisco Abruzzi, but we heard from the incoming president about Yinka Babalola. And I wanted to share a few of his words as well. We did hear from Malala Yousafzai, the Nobel laureate. And I didn't know this before, and you may not know either, but her courage to stand up to the Taliban 20 years ago was because of her father and her father's Rotary Club. I did not know that Rotary played such a big part in that young woman's life, which is why she was keen to show up for the convention and share what she's been doing in the last 20 years. She has a foundation and continues to work on literacy for young girls. Yinka Babalola is a former Shell engineer executive who now steps into the role of president of Rotary International. He is mad keen on membership, okay? And he had a few words to say about how we create the conditions for membership for our clubs going forward. It's his opinion that a community without a Rotary club must be suffering. And we have a duty to relieve that suffering and invite more members and have more clubs. I thought that was a lovely idea. He said the way we attract members to Rotary is to be able to tell our own story about Rotary and really focus on the last letter in that word, why. What's your Rotary why? How has Rotary changed you? When did you have your transformation story? And share that story with others. Some of you I know very well. Some of you I've yet to spend a significant lunch with. But I would love to hear your why, your transformation journey. How did Rotary change you? Rotary builds projects, yes, but it also builds people. Being a part of a Rotary Fellowship is a way to create a sense of purpose, belonging, passion, and relieves the #1 mental health issue in the world today, which is loneliness. Rotary, by its very existence and the values that it holds, provides an opportunity for people of all ages and all backgrounds to participate in shared projects, in shared activities. I love the jazz nights just as much as I love the meal packing events, just as much as I love the members' meetings. And we continue to grow as a club and as a district to meet the needs of current and future members going forward. The second thing I wanted to say is that there were two major foci of the the Rotary International Convention, and it was peace and end polio. Those are the two #1 priorities for Rotary International for this year. A family foundation, the Jubitz family from the United States, made it possible for 30 Peace Fellows to gather together to reinvigorate the peace pillar of Rotary. Our region now, with the leadership of Gabe Howe, has a Rotary Action Group for Peace at the regional level, on which our own Rob McGuirk is going to be a board member. President Philip already mentioned that peace is a focus of this club and has had a long and proud history of peace fellowship and passion, and we will continue to do that as well. But the idea from Rotary International is that we pursue peace deliberately, not as a byproduct of other activities. By focusing on peace, and I did my PhD on talking about peace, it's not something we're comfortable with. We're much more comfortable talking about conflict, but changing the narrative and talking about what activity you're doing right now, what conversation you're having right now, to ask the question, does this create a condition of greater peace in this moment? Just asking yourself that question can help you reframe, is this really what I want to be saying right now? Is this really what I want to be doing right now? Will it have a byproduct or an intentional outcome of greater peace? And that's where I think Rotary can really step in. The good news about the End Polio now is that, and some of our members already are very involved in that campaign, Robert Fisher in particular, that 99.95% of the world is polio free, with wild viruses still operating in the borderlands between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Somebody asked the incoming president, what's next after polio? And he said, there's no what's next until polio is eradicated. Focus, 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 finish the job, and then we can see what's next. I'd like to close by saying what's been said before from this very podium, which is that Rotary is a relay race. It's a baton we pass from one to another, from one person to another person, where leadership moves through us, and it's something that is freely shared. You will find during my year, I'm a very collaborative leader. I am very much interested in hearing what you want to say, facilitating your passion and your projects within Rotary, and finding out how we can open up what we do to more people and more collaboration so that we can share the joy from this room to a broader public. I pledge to serve you to the best of my ability this year. I thank you all for being here today. I'm deeply humbled that so many of you have showed up, and I look forward to an exciting year ahead. Thank you very much. And I think we have a special video here with the creators of said video.
Is this all there is? We build careers, we define ourselves by what we do. But what happens beyond that?
Rotary is where purpose meets people.
From local communities to global impact, we bring our skills together to create change.
Here, you're not just your title.
You're who you choose to be.
If you're searching for more,
You'll find it at Rotary Melbourne.
I have it on good authority that this video is already posted on the Rotary Melbourne LinkedIn site. So please navigate your way to the LinkedIn site and share freely with your friends. All right. In closing, I would like to thank all our visitors and guests, including our outgoing District Governor Peter Shepherd and incoming District Governor Graham Hope, and a warm welcome to our newest member, David Chauhan. Thank you to all our guests and supporters, including past President Philip and his wife, Debbie. Thank you to members and friends, and I look forward to working with you in the year ahead. Next week, we return here at number 35. Our guest speaker is Indigenous leader and member Ian Ham. This is one not to miss.